I decided to spend a full week in Roblox Jailbreak, starting with a brand new account to see how much I can accomplish in just 7 days. I also do have some specific goals in mind that I want to accomplish too, like purchasing all weapons to defend myself. I also want to buy a supercar, specifically the Roadster, and having at least 1 million cash by the end of the week. Will I come across different people along the way, or will I struggle to accomplish my goal? Stick around to find out. First, of course, I needed to make a brand new account, so that's what I did, with the username being fake Mr. Doge 25. After customizing my avatar for a bit, I was finally ready to start. I joined Jailbreak for the first time on this account, and the challenge had started. When joining Jailbreak for the first time, you are actually given 3 things to give you a head start. You are given 2 common saves and 1 street save. You are also given 3,000 cash to begin with, and besides the pistol, you also receive the shotgun for free. Now we can actually begin the challenge. The first thing I see when spawning in is a cop being brutally murdered. He dropped a pistol, so I picked it up, and I used that pistol to brutally attack other cops. After eliminating a few cops, I eventually did get a key card. Before I escaped, I did get dripped up. Finally, I am out, but there is just one tiny problem. All the vehicles I own are no longer here, so I am forced to use the Camaro, and I will tell you why it's a problem in a few minutes. After driving for a bit, I did get used to the Camaro, so the first place I went to first was the gun shop. I picked up the free shotgun that was there and headed out. After driving for a while, I decided to test my luck and open the free saves I got. The first save I opened up was the common saves. The first one I got a drift. The second save I opened, I got a texture, which is pretty cool. And the street save I opened was a mid texture. I went to the garage to put on the stuff I got from the save, and I witnessed a cop for the first time. The battle didn't last long though, since I got tased and arrested right after. I headed to the yard to witness a criminal offering help, and I accepted his offer to escape. Now I gotta talk about the robberies. There are 12 main robberies split into 4 groups. For example, Group A having the power plant, the passenger train, and the cargo plane, which together I would call the speedrun group, and you'll see why in a second. First is the power plant. The goal here is to complete puzzles and turn in uranium as fast as you can. Unfortunately for me, I only have the Camaro. I did the puzzle anyways, and I start off with 7,200 cash. So I headed to the volcano base to see how much cash I can get with just the Camaro, and surprisingly enough, I roughly got about 4,500 cash, which actually isn't that bad. Now, I recommend to avoid the passenger train and cargo plane just because you will want to get at least a decent vehicle, and the power plant just outweighs both robberies. The next group I will talk about is Group B, which contains the casino, the oil rig, and the crater bank, which together I would consider it to be the deadly group, and again, you'll see why. Starting off with the casino, you would first need to find a code in the lobby, for example, like this location. You will then need to head to the security room to disable the vault lasers. After heading to the elevator, you will go down to the vault to complete a simple obby. Keep in mind that cops can enter in the casino, but it can be pretty easy to defeat them with the large amount of space that you have. The highest amount of cash you can obtain is 4,000 cash, which isn't bad for a free-to-play player. I headed to the volcano base and redeemed the cash. Now it's time for the next robbery. Next is the oil rig, which is a very interesting robbery. You have exactly 3 minutes to complete the robbery, and you first need to defeat 7 NPCs to continue on the next stage of the robbery. You will then need to pull this lever and encounter another NPC, but you can immediately kill it with the explosive barrel. Then you do this puzzle to encounter more NPCs. Again, you can use the explosive barrel to eliminate most of them. After defeating them, you can then obtain the oil. After a few minutes, I managed to escape with about 3,000 cash. I will talk about both banks later on, so stay tuned. Now, onto the next group. The next group is Group C, containing the cargo ship, the tomb, and the cargo train. This one is personally my favorite, and I call it the jackpot group. First is the cargo ship, which you can use the free helicopter that you already have. You then collect the container to take to the dock port, and redeem about 3,000 cash, which isn't bad because you then head to the cargo train to rob right after. The train isn't so great because you only get about 2,000 cash, but the next robbery will be worth it. I then redeemed the cash, and surprisingly, I got a badge, which isn't rare these days. I also got $100 just for raiding the game, which is cool, I guess. The final robbery is the tomb, which is the best one because there are no cops, high pay, and it is quick and easy. So I did this obby for about a minute or so, and I picked up this gem and waited for the door to open so I can get in the minecart, which I then spent another minute to make it to the end. I then got 7,000 cash and I got a free spoiler. Now for the final group, which contains the bank, the jewelry store, and the museum, which I called the classics, and they need no introduction. The jewelry store, you punch glass and redeem about 3,000 cash. The museum, you work together and redeem 4,000 cash. The bank though is very interesting, having 9 bank floors in total, with the best one being the presidential vault. Now I got the underwater vault, which gives 3,000 cash and is pretty good. I then escaped the bank and redeemed the cash I had. I then spent about 30 minutes to see how much cash I can get, and surprisingly enough, I got a grand total of 71,000 cash, which isn't a lot, but don't worry because I decided to buy the Doom Buggy. So I spent 45,000 cash, and let me tell you why. When buying the Doom Buggy, you can actually buy the level 5 engine in the garage, and together, they are pretty fast. So I spent the next few minutes completing robberies so I can be able to buy the level 5 engine, which I managed to do. So I went to the garage and bought it, and I'm broke. But that officially means I don't have to drive the Camaro, and I can drive this fast Doom Buggy. My first goal for the journey is to buy the Roadster, and it's gonna be pretty tough because I'm going to have to go through different struggles. Also, when escaping the bank, I finally witnessed my second battle of different cops. 2 cops were after me and I only had the pistol to use, but I managed to eliminate them pretty easily because they kept missing their tases and their shots. And that's that. And like a normal person, I spent the next hours grinding, and I don't remember, but I think grinding. I also met a few hackers like this one. I tried to help opening this crate and we eventually opened it, and I only got a stack of cash because the hacker decided to be greedy and steal the rest of it. And after struggling for a while, I've managed to finally get my last robbery done and managed to get 300,000 cash for the day. And I got sleepy, so on. I woke up nice and early for day 3 because today's the day we get the Roadster. So I headed to the oil rig and I already see someone defeating the NPCs for me, and I decided to help. And since we're working together, I guess we can call each other a team. I was the one solving the puzzles and my teammate and I were helping defeat the NPCs together. And after all this, we finally got to rob the oil rig. Sadly, I had to leave my teammate. And actually, there's one thing I didn't tell you about the robberies. You see, there's one robbery that is not in a group, and it is called the Mansion. One of the hardest robberies in the game. No, but really, it's literally just a boss, and it's kind of difficult, but I decided to try it out for the first time with my pistol and the shotgun. What can go wrong? So I went to the elevator with this guy, and we did a simple obby to get to his room. We started shooting him immediately, and we started shooting the NPCs. Lucky for me, half of my pistol shots were not even registering on the NPCs, so that's why I died. So instead of robbing the mansion, I decided to rob like normal again, and I was one robbery away from 600,000 cash. Luckily, the passenger train was right here, and I was able to rob it real quick. So I quickly picked up the cash and quickly left the passenger train. I finally hit 600,000 cash, which means I can finally buy the Roadster. So the only thing left to do now was to buy the Roadster, so I head to that location with my level 1 Doom Buggy, and I finally made it. And with no hesitation, I bought the Roadster and quickly hopped in. And now I'm officially broke again, which means I have to grind all over again. The Roadster might be too common these days, but it really does go fast. This also officially means that I completed one of the 3 goals, which was buying the supercar, which is epic. We're still not done though. We still have a few more goals I have to do. That's why my goal for today was to buy all of these weapons, and this is so I can PvP much easier. So my goal for today was to grind as much as I can until I got to 300,000 cash, because that's how much all the weapons cost. So I grinded, and even grinded. Next I headed to the oil rig, and it looked like there were already people here. And I met DJ Khaled, which is amazing. So we worked together. And stroke occurred as soon as I blew up this barrel, and I think I killed DJ Khaled, which is heartbreaking because he was my only friend. But I did turn in my cash anyways, so let's continue. I then see a few criminals in the distance trying to open this crate, so I decided to help. And when finding these NPCs, I see someone very recognizable. It was DJ Khaled. Everything was going well. I got to meet my friend again, and we were defeating these NPCs really easily. And we were close to opening this crate until this happened. Yeah, that happened. But I continued robbing anyways, and actually this was the closest robbery that I was able to get a hyperchrome. But we don't really need that right now. And to show you how much filler day 4 was, pretty much I just waited around for robberies to open, and as soon as they open up, I just robbed them and wait again. Probably the most boring day of the week, but don't worry, it gets better from here. Not everything was filler. There were some parts that were pretty funny, like this cop waiting around. I thought we couldn't see him. And instead of cops chasing criminals, criminals are the one that are chasing cops, and it was just the funniest thing I've seen all day. But yeah, that was pretty much it. And eventually, I was one robbery away from the 300,000 cash I needed. And I was gonna rob the casino until I saw whatever that was. But I quickly robbed it anyways, and I head to the volcano base, and I officially have 300,000 cash. I headed to the gun shop, and now I bought the revolver, the flintlock, AK, sword, Uzi, force field, both plasma weapons, sniper, and the rocket launcher. And now I'm officially broke again. All of these weapons are useful. For example, the AK for long range, the sword for speed boost, the Uzi for spamming, the force field for healing, the plasma weapons for shooting through, same thing with the plasma shotgun, the sniper for long range, and the rocket launcher for... This once again officially means I completed my second goal, which was to purchase all weapons. But we're still not done yet. We still got one more goal, which is to collect $1 million. So on... While escaping the casino, I see a bank truck for the first time on this account. So I decided to be sneaky and start shooting them with a rocket launcher, and it worked out perfectly. I was able to eliminate them, but first I need to turn in my cash. Then I could go in the bank truck, and I got a grand total of 150 cash. I mean, it's still profit, so that's pretty good. Footage for the next clip got lost, so let me give you some context. The mansion is open, right? I drove my roadster to that location with 2 other people this time, and I got all my weapons. So here's attempt 2. My avatar is also kinda weird, so just bear with it. We were doing pretty good. We eliminated all the NPCs, and we were draining the CEO's health pretty fast. I also used the Uzi for most of the battle because it just does so much damage. And we did get hurt a few times, but we always had a solution for that. And for the next 2 or 3 minutes or so, we were eliminating the NPCs, defeating the boss pretty quickly, and that was until we reached phase 2 of the battle, which was him regaining health and him spawning the last NPCs. And when defeating the CEO, you actually get 13,000 cash and a robbery bonus roll. And in that roll, you can get a chance of getting a free vehicle, and that vehicle is the escape bot. And after 5 minutes of just fighting, we finally defeated the CEO, earning ourselves 13,000 cash, a free badge, and a robbery bonus roll. And on my first one, I got the legendary escape bot, which is insane value for a new account. Now I can rob the cargo ship much easier because of the escape pod. Day 5 was a little bit filler, just me grinding, and I actually got about 400,000 cash, and I didn't want you guys to get bored of just me grinding. So I switched it up for today. I am now a police, and I will be collecting high bounties. First person I see is on a Volt bike, and he actually tried to juke me, but that failed miserably, and right before I arrested him, he actually logged. The next person was at the jewelry store. He was about to escape, but I started chasing him, and I arrested him. Someone was then robbing the mansion, and a few seconds later, I started taking damage through the wall. I kept getting hit in every shot. So I entered the door that was opening, and I arrested the hacker. I headed to the bank next because that's where a criminal was located, and he was about to escape, so luckily I arrested him. I joined a new server, and this server was stacked with bounties, so I had to find them. they were actually at the bank, so I headed there real quick before they escaped. I headed down and they were on the verge of escaping, but I quickly ran into the vault and got their juicy bounty, which is epic. And one of them even called me a hacker, which is cool. I headed to the bank again, and there was someone just standing there, so I tased them and I quickly ran into the vault, claiming their bounty. I also found this person. They were pretty weird. I had a weird interaction with them, but I did eventually arrest them. Do you guys remember the guy from the tomb? Well, yeah, I'm gonna be doing the same thing that he did on this guy. And somehow he fell for it. He didn't even see me, and I got his bounty. And in the desert, I found a random guy just sitting there, and I just got his free bounty. I also got a free crate right after. Next up, I went to the bank, but suddenly I started getting shot, and I died because it was a hacker. I saw these two criminals in a vehicle, and they were reckless driving, so unfortunately I had to arrest them. But hey, they had a high bounty. As I was popping this guy's tires, a drone tried to offer help, so I had to arrest him really quick. One of them logged, and the other one I tased pretty easily, and I was able to collect his bounty. Those few criminals were robbing the jewelry store, so I came up with a plan to trap them. So I waited for about a minute or so for someone to arrive, and then I see a Volt bike. So I head there really quick, and I managed to collect their 10,000 bounty. I quickly set up a second trap for the second criminal, and I waited once again. Then I see a Cybertruck, so I head there once again, and he tried to jetpack out, but he failed. Someone was robbing the oil rig, so I head up there really quickly, and I started chasing him down. I tased him midway, and I managed to collect his bounty. I started chasing this random Camaro with someone inside, and out of nowhere, I started to get shot, which meant I had to run away. But I quickly wrapped around this hill and started chasing him back again. So I tricked him pretty badly, and I tased him, and I managed to collect his high bounty. As I was driving around, I see this army helicopter start shooting at me. One of them hopped out, so I managed to arrest them, while his other friend started shooting me late, and I managed to arrest him as well. Lastly, I arrested these criminals who surprisingly didn't even see me, so I got their really high bounty, and in total it was about 25,000. I turned into a criminal and I met a new friend. His name is Ghetto. We worked together to rob places, and we were a pretty good duo. Even he admitted it by saying, "Best duo," and I took that compliment, and we continued grinding. We were robbing places for hours, and we were grinding super well, to the point that we even completed the puzzle of the power plant at the same time. We always stayed in the same car robbing places, to the point where we even found some hackers. Unfortunately, that fun didn't last forever, since Ghetto did have to leave. But that also meant that I had to stop grinding, because I was almost at the point to reach my special goal of 1 million cash. So on It's day 7, and it's almost time for me to hit 1 million cash. As you can see, I'm getting really close. And there's also a new Jailbreak event, and I'm pretty sure you can get free cash from it. So here's a quick tutorial. Criminals and cops have to spray paint and clean up the city. So the first one for the criminal team is at the criminal base. The second one is at the building in the city. The third one is close to the bank in the city. The fourth one is at the town garage. The next one is at the Crater City. The next one, I already spray painted, but it's at the police station. The next one is at the sewers. And the final one is at the mansion. Now here's the police team. One is at the bank. The next one is close to the jewelry store. The next one is at the jewelry store. There's one at the power plant. There's one at the entrance of the museum. There's one at the donut shop. The next one is at the casino. And the final one at the gas station. Now this door should open up, and once you enter, there should be an obby, and it should be pretty easy and not that hard. Now there should be a tower that you should climb up, but instead of going up, you have to go down for the secret. So once you head down, you'll then find a secret where once you step in, you'll be teleported back up and you get 20,000 cash. So that's a big bonus. You'll then complete the obby like normal, and it shouldn't take you more than a minute. And once you reach the end, you'll get another prize of 10,000 cash. Now this means I'm at the final robbery. As you can see, I am now one robbery away from 1 million cash. And the jewelry store is open, so I decided to rob it one final time. So I start punching the glass from start to finish, and I do the obby one last time until I reach the end. So safely I made it out without getting it. Never mind that, instead we're gonna rob the cargo train one last time. So I waited out for a few more seconds and I escaped, hitting 1 million cash. Wait, but now what? Now we're gonna see how much progress we made in just 7 days. First off, I made 2.1 million cash, which is a lot. Then I got 3 vehicles in total and I made 2 friends, which is cool. I also hit level 5, I did all my goals, and most importantly, this video's done. If you guys enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. As you can tell, this video did take a while. And thank you to Propeller for the inspiration on this video. He made his own version on Tower Defense Simulator, so go watch his. And if you guys really want to see a part 2 on this video needs to do really well for that. Maybe I'll do 100 hours or 31 days, I don't know. But this video needs to do good. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Goodbye.